Well, this event is a great chance to come out and meet one of your potential next governor candidates. We've invited all 13 potential governor candidates at this time. That includes a number of Republicans, Democrats, Constitution Party, Libertarian Party, Green Party, and independent candidates. So they've all been extended an invitation, and we have 6 confirmed right now. This is basically an opportunity to, before we get to the primaries, for you, for everyone to start looking at who they might want to vote for.
And have you had any confirmations? Are you getting good feedback from the candidates? Or
yeah, so far we have confirmations from Dan Proft, Kirk Dillard, Bill Brady, Adam Andrzejewski, which are all Republicans, and Randy Stufflebeam, who's a Constitution Party candidate, and Michael White, an independent candidate. And we're still waiting on several Republicans, a couple the 2 Democrats, Pat Quinn and Dan Hines, and the Green Party and Libertarian Party candidate.
So this is being put on by the McLean County Freedom Coalition, actually, which ties into Campaign for Liberty. But I guess there's kind of a, can you kind of explain the difference between the two?
Right. Well, the Campaign for Liberty, we met and we thought, what can we do next? Because we put on an event called Freedom Night about 3 weeks ago. And we thought, what can we do next? And we thought, a lot of people don't know who all the candidates are, and we thought we would do this event. But we wanted to do it underneath the banner of the McLean County Freedom Coalition, because the McLean County Freedom Coalition is all about trying to bring together some of these liberty-minded groups, meaning groups that believe in the Constitution, groups that believe that people should be free and the government should be limited. So a lot of these different groups around Bloomington Normal kind of pulling together underneath the McLean County Freedom Coalition.
And we were talking a little bit off the air. I think there's some confusion around the Campaign for Liberty, which once started really around Ron Paul's campaign. And that's where actually the Tea Party started. But then as it gained momentum, especially after the most recent election, presidential election, you're seeing a lot of sects hitch their wagons to the movements and such. Is there any uphill battle? I think there's some confusion around the public on what Campaign for Liberty is. You hear you hear people say, a lot of racism involved in the group. You hear maybe not the most educated. Can you speak to that a little? What Campaign for Liberty is and how it got to where it is today?
Well, I've never heard about any racism charges in the Campaign for Liberty. I've heard that through the Tea Parties and everything. But I've been to those Tea Parties. I've spoken at several of them. And what we're talking about is constitutionally limited government, individual rights, individual liberties. The one thing the Campaign for Liberty has pushed throughout 2009, if you've heard this, it's audit the Fed. Currently, the Federal Reserve has the power to print money out of thin air and not tell us where the trillions of dollars that they printed over the last year have gone. So we're trying to push just a one-page bill to actually understand where that money's going. So I don't think that the racism charges are grounded in anything. Individual liberty is completely the opposite of racism because it's non-collectivism, and collectivism is when you start getting into grouping people by groups instead of saying, you're an individual first.
And the bill you're referring to, that Fed, is H.R. 1207. I think there's over 290 sponsors. I think our Congresswoman Halverson signed on to it, and I know that Congressman Tim Johnson, he was an early, actually, supporter of that legislation, which was supposed to, I think, get a hearing. I'm not sure if it did. But I know there's enough sponsors where it will get a hearing, and at least in one of the committees. But that's, I know that. And that ties into Ron Paul because that's his legislation. I know that's where, I guess, the Campaign for Liberty surrounds.
Right, yeah, it was formed in September of 2008, so just a little over a year ago. It was from the Ron Paul campaign, but I want to make a distinction that although a lot of the ideas that Ron Paul talked about are in our organization, it's not run by Ron Paul, it's not about Ron Paul, it's about the ideas that individuals, should be free, that we are campaigning every day for liberty and for a constitutional rule of government.
Where do you guys disagree with the Republican Party these days? Because I know you're seeing, like I said, we kind of mentioned how it seems to me the GOP has kind of attached itself to Campaign for Liberty. I know they're both conservative movements, but there is a difference between the two. Can you kind of speak to that?
Yeah, and it's hard to group, again, going back to that collectivist versus individual, it's hard to group the entire GOP, Republican Party in one lump sum. But for just one example would be the bailouts. A lot of the under under George Bush, the Republicans pushed through a bailout. Well, it's very similar to what we called a stimulus package under the Democrats. The Republicans were all of a sudden up in arms. Yet, so it's just that both of those things were unconstitutional. And from a Campaign for Liberty standpoint, we think that unconstitutional laws are null and void, and they shouldn't be passed. We should have, arguments over, a discussion over should we pass this law or that law. But if it's unconstitutional, we shouldn't. We should just throw it out.
Well, Jason Riddle's joining us this afternoon. He's a Campaign for Liberty coordinator in McLean County, joining us in studio. Their event, again, Meet Your Next Governor, Monday night, October 19th at the Lafayette Club. You can find out more information. mcfreedomcoalition.com is the website for more information on that. I guess, Jason, what are you looking for as far as your group, as far as the next governor, the next election? You're seeing it ramp up now. You're listening, especially within our Senate race, how much money Janulius is bringing in, how much money Mark Kirk's bringing in. You're starting to see this rhetoric start to heat up now as we head into a full-blown election season. What are you looking for? What is Campaign for Liberty looking for in an ideal candidate?
Well, that's a little hard because the Campaign for Liberty is a nonpartisan organization. We don't support the Republicans, the Democrats, the Libertarian Party, any party, and we won't ever endorse any particular candidate. However, we want a candidate, and most of our members want a candidate that runs on a platform of constitutionally limited government. So at the governor level, we have something called an Illinois Constitution, and this crazy notion that most of our members want our governor and the people that are elected to our state government to follow the rules.
Well, that's that would be crazy, wouldn't it?
Crazy notion.
Well, is there, Jason, is there anything else that you want to make people aware of as far as this event, or on how people want to find out more, how they can do so? Is this the only website, the MC Freedom? I know you guys also have a website as well.
Yeah, we also have the McLean, www.mcleanc4l.com, which you can get more information from there. Just a few other things about the event. We're hoping that you come out and try to get informed about some of these government candidates. They will be running for the primaries, many of them, in February. So make sure you get out there and get educated on who you have, potentially that could be your next governor. And also, just if you need a little bit of boost, we do have a free chance to win, a chance to win a free condo in Branson, Missouri for 3 nights.
Really?
We're trying to entice people, to come out,
condo in Branson.
Learn about your elected officials.
A little country music in Branson, Missouri.
Yes, sir.
Is it someone's condo out there that you're?
Yes, a liberty-minded individual donated it to us, and we're taking full advantage of it.
Very well done. I have not been as far west as Branson. Been to Osage Beach and that area there, but have not been to Branson. Well, I know you guys are going to be. Are you submitting? Are you allowing the public to submit questions? How are the questions? Where are those coming from? The panel that's going to be asking those?
Oh, great question. We actually have a very unique format that we're putting together. It's basically in 2 different phases. The first phase is going to be 5 questions that the Campaign for Liberty and the other groups within the Freedom Coalition are putting together. Those 5 questions will be asked to each candidate separately, meaning there'll be one candidate in the room at a time. Then when that candidate's done, they'll leave the room, go back with the other candidates, so that when the next candidate comes and gets asked those same questions, they cannot hear what they're saying. So we're hoping that puts a little bit of more pressure on our candidates to tell the truth and say the right things.
Well, no matter where you sit as far as your political views, if we can get all of our candidates here on the 19th to take part in that, it'd be interesting to see each one leave and enter the room and answer the questions on their own merits without hearing the other candidates. So a very unique way to do that. Again, it's at the Lafayette Club Monday night, October 19th. From 6 to 9, it's free. Doors open at 5:30. Seating limited to about 450 or so, but I'm sure there's some standing room as well. But the website again, mcfreedomcoalition.com for more information. Jason Riddle, McLean County Campaign for Liberty coordinator. Thanks for being with us this afternoon.
Thank you.